And if I still haven't made sense to you, the truth is, a lot of you are going to be too to be employed. About 50% of the people watching this video are gonna let A-levels destroy them. It's inevitable, it's going to happen. A-levels are going to destroy a lot of the people that are watching this video. Why is that? What does that even mean? What do I mean by A-levels are going to destroy me? Well, first, let's start with understanding who you are. A lot of you are students coming out of your GCSE. You've probably caught up on a bit of A-level revision. A lot of you may be, a subsect of you might be people that may have studied well at GCSE and you may have achieved some very good grades. Some of you have 8s, 9s in biology, chemistry, maths, maybe even straight 9s in the subjects that you've chosen for your A-levels. And well, whilst that's all well and good, it doesn't actually mean anything. Genuinely amounts to absolutely nothing in the world of A-levels. But essentially what this concept boils down to is the content to time ratio. What do I mean by that? The amount of content you have compared to the time you have to complete that set of content. In GCSEs, there's not that much content, there's not that much conceptual knowledge to grasp compared to the amount of time you have to do it. I could give you the example of myself achieving mainly A's and A stars in subjects that I perhaps revised a maximum of a month and a half for. That's not to toot my own horn. I had some friends that came over from places like Italy, and these are people that are studying English as maybe a third or fourth language. And these people were still able to score themselves A's and A stars. And so what does that mean? It doesn't mean that GCSEs are necessarily hard. It means that your GCSEs don't describe your true academic capacity in any way, shape or form. And I know this sounds a bit controversial, but you're gonna have to take it from me. So let's delve deeper into what it means to have hard A-levels. Well, we've described first of all that a good season in your GCSEs doesn't really amount to anything. It was just a good season, it's over now, and you have to sort of dissociate yourself from that situation and continue on with your A-levels. Now, before we try and understand how hard A-levels are, let me clue you in on exactly what the stakes for your A-levels are generally quite high. Reason being, most good universities require you to have good A-levels. They require you not to have done it in a retake. And generally speaking, in terms of stakes, you have 2 years worth of knowledge to exhibit in about a week's worth of examination. You have 9 papers essentially describing to the rest of the world what your brain is capable of in 2 years. That, coupled with the fact that you can't take retakes, actually makes it extremely nerve-wracking. And on top of that, once you finish university and you go on to apply to some graduate jobs, they will also want to know what you got in your A-levels. So, point being, the employment market is going to be quite hard. And if I still haven't made sense to you, the truth is, a lot of you are going to be too to be employed. You are not good enough. A lot of you, when you get your C's and your D's and you apply to Metropolitan Police University, they will not care. They will not care. And the truth is, some of you might think you're smarter than me. Some of you might tell me, but entry requirements aren't everything, Aman. I know an entry requirement that's CCC. Let me tell you something, little kid. When the A-star AB students and the AAB students and the ABB students and the BBB students have a hard time in the employment market applying to some place that actually matters, they come down to be the best player on a team. And that team is the team that you're looking at on Google and on the student room. That's the team that you've been giving yourself false hope with. The truth is, if you want to propel yourself forward in this life, if you want to raise your capital, if you want to even be worth anything in this stupid life, then your A-levels matter. I'm not here to tell you your A-levels don't matter. That's the easy way out. That's easy, bro. Go and become a plumber, man. You'll make some nice money. Go, do it. I've got nothing against plumbers. They're very good people. It's an honest day of work. But let's be honest. Let's just be honest for 1 second, bro. Your A-levels do matter. All right, well, we've talked about a bit of the stakes required to do well at A-level. Let's look at the facilities. What do you have? What do they give you to go and, sort yourself out in life? Well, you might be given an A-level teacher. Now, this teacher They may be recently qualified, which is in that case very well. But I mean, how many years of teaching do they have to their experience? 10, maybe 20 years. Or if they have 10 to 20 years of experience, first of all, the last time they were actually a student was 10 years ago. The last time they were actually sitting in your seat trying to understand the concept was 10 years ago. So how can you expect them to empathize with you? But let's say you have a really empathetic teacher. Let's say your teacher understands your struggles very nicely. Your teacher is a person that has to distribute knowledge across 20 sentient beings. 20 people in the classroom need to learn from her. And how many of them are looking for that B grade, that A grade? A lot of them are E students looking for a D. A lot of them are D students looking for a C. So if you have a teacher that spent the last 20 years teaching E students to get a D and D students to get a C, how the hell can you use that as your only support system to get yourself an A or a B for university? How? How does that work? It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It's a delusion. It's a delusion that you've bought yourself. So point number one is to not rely on your teacher or the level of knowledge progression that they choose for the class to, get you into university. Needless to mention all the other issues in A-levels. The socializing dynamic, right? The social dynamic is crazy. There's a food chain. There's clearly a food chain in your common room, right? There's friendships. There's multiple negotiations every single day. There's money that needs to be made. Who's going to go and make the money? You? So you're telling me now you need to get a perfect 8 hours of sleep. You need to drink 2 liters of water a day. You need to go to your job and you need to get your revision done. Or are you trying to sell that to me or are you trying to sell it to yourself? And then there's one more point, and these are for the certified lover boys out there. If you go and get yourself into a loving relationship and you do not see eye to eye with the girl in terms of where you need to be by the end of 2 years, then I'm sorry to say, my friend, you're also buying into a second or maybe even a third type of delusion, right? There is a big problem and you need to find a solution. You need to address the delusions that you're buying into. You need to nip them in the bud. I'll catch you in the next video.